Hey there, Aries. Thank you so much for joining me here today. My name is Halen. I have a whopper of a reading here on the table for you, and I'm surprised to see what it's saying. But I want to start this reading by saying, sometimes we come into this world carrying stuff that isn't ours, almost like the static. And sometimes, even though it sounds very cliche, this ancestral karma, which is showing up in the past position for you with the Pachamama, the Time Master, which often speaks to me about Saturn, the planet Saturn, and also it's like space and time coming together, right? But also mother and father coming together to birth you. It makes me think about our ancestry and our lineage and these patterns and where we come from. Because these energies coming together are the very things that birth us, and often these energies are patterns, like archetypes. I mean, even when you read about the stories of Mother Earth and Father Sky, there's a lot of strange relations between those two, right? And then it's like their children, which is you here, the wild woman, the wild creature born into the earth, the world, with the tree of life, from space and time, from mother and father, masculine and feminine merging itself. You're the fruit that it bears. And it's up to the children in a lot of these myths that I've read about. I think they're Greek, perhaps, I'm not sure, of Father Sky and Mother Earth, where the children have to assist their mother or their parents in some form or fashion. It's like they have a reason for being here. And I feel like what you're showing me in the past position that you're very well aware of, because it comes out with the Chariot, is that you have been assigned like a task from your ancestors, from your lineage. It's karma. You were given karma when you were born. It's a weird thing to say. I don't mean it in a way of karma is necessarily punishment. It's kind of feeling to me like a job, like a duty that you have because you were born from these two energies, these two patterns coming together. And because they came together, you're here craving freedom as this wild woman. But in order to have the freedom, it's like, okay, you're being given the task to carry it through, to carry something through here. And it makes me think of a story I shared recently. I think it was perhaps in the Capricorn reading, where I talked about a dream I had before my life completely just blew wide open in a way I never thought was even possible. And in this dream, my ancestors came to me in a line. I was standing at a desk, and they split me off from myself, took me out to the other version of me, I think the real version of me, out to the lanai, and sat me down, and they spoke to me and told me something that I wasn't able to hear. And I watched myself silently nod and agree, and it looked very serious. And in the years to come, following that dream, my life would be forever changed, and I was sort of hurled onto this karmic journey that absolutely blew my mind. And I agreed to taking this task on. I saw myself do it in the dream, but the reason that they split me off from myself is because had they told me consciously, I would have said no. And so, again, I feel like you've been born into this lifetime knowing that you would be the one to carry forward a task, or that you were the one that could do it for whatever reason, for whatever these, again, it just feels to me like some kind of family karma, or maybe, your mother and father, your grandparents. Maybe we're talking about big collective energies of masculine and feminine. Again, Father Sky, Mother Earth. I'm not sure, but you're this wild creature. I want to say something like born of flesh and blood, but also there's this magic where you're this bridge between the worlds, because you're carrying forward a task. You have come in with a purpose to essentially break or heal a cycle of karma. And so it's really a weird message to give, where I'm like, yeah, you were born, but you weren't just born in and of yourself and your own individual lessons. There's been static clinging to you that you agreed to, that you would transmute through your animal body, your physical vessel. So maybe this is manifested perhaps as autoimmune issues or illness, or, really strange but very real physical, but also supernatural experiences, because it feels like the supernatural and the physical, or the metaphysical and the physical, are interwoven for you. That's why you're this wild creature here, carrying something forward. It's kind of like when your spirit guides or your ghosts or whatever physically manifest. A lot of people aren't ready for that. I feel like you've full-on experienced this and have been ready for it. I mean, that's the vibe that I'm getting. It feels otherworldly, and it feels like a heavy load, like that Beatles song, boy, you're gonna carry that weight a long time. You're kind of here saying, no, I'm gonna carry this weight out to the outskirts and dump it, right? I'm gonna dump it in the junkyard and throw it away. I'm gonna take the task of doing this. It makes me think of, I live in Hawaii. Well, I don't want to go off on a tangent, but there's things that are a little outdated here, and so they're not up to date. They're going to be made illegal by a certain year, and it's for properties and houses. And so a lot of these homeowners are just passing on the problem to their children and their children's children, because they know that they're going to die by the time this law is officially passed, so they don't have to deal with it. And then these other elders are choosing to take care of it now so that they don't pass it on. I feel like this is what you're doing. You're like, I will not pass this on. And so your commitment and the current energy is to this water. And water, to me, especially with this card, it's almost like the element of plasma, which I talk about a lot on my channel, that represents the element of spirit. It's like the matter of spirit. It's something that's very real. And it made me think of this book I read once about a water fairy, and it's like a dam gets clogged and all the animals are going to die, there's a dam that's created by beaver, and all the fish are running out of water, and it's becoming really scary, and they call upon this water fairy, which is you, right? Born of this earth and sky, whatever this is, coming into this realm, caught between two worlds in a way. And it's like, because you have this ability or something, you are given the task to discover what's causing the dam. And it's like, she ends up going to the beaver, right? This is her commitment to her fellow creatures around her, the fish, the turtle, the beaver, all of it. She's like, okay, we're gonna get to the bottom of this. And she goes and discovers that beaver had inadvertently created a dam, and so she has to go underneath it in order to dislodge the logs and allow this water to flow again. And that's what this is talking about here. There's like some kind of karmic something that it's like you have this commitment to opening up the flow of this again. And look at how committed you really are here. 7 of Wands, interesting. But to me, normally that is a card about, defense, but to me it looks like you are rising to the task. It's like you're dedicated to the cause. This is your karmic duty. And it almost feels like, I think this was coming up in another reading too, I don't know whose, Leo's maybe, about losing your religion. That's going to come up in a moment, but right now I feel like this task, this experiencing, it also might be telepathic communication between worlds as well, with the water and these two hands with this key here. You have been committed, especially with the ancestors coming up. It's like you've been committed to being this bridge, this channel. Sorry for the rooster noises if you can hear the rooster. And carrying this water through. It's like you're the key that can unstick it, right? It's like you can unstick this glue. You can untie the knot. You can untangle the knot. That's your sacred purpose. And it's almost to me with the spirit molecule here of plasma, it's like speaking to God or loved ones through the veil, because you have to, in order to honor this task that you've been given. It's part of why you've been given this task, is this like interdimensional communication. And also it's not just communication, it's also action, multidimensional, it's transmutation. And so here's where it's so fascinating in the current energy, is that it's showing me here that you did it. I get emotional when I say this, but I feel like it's got the new beginnings and the completion, and I feel like, oh my God, this is you unsticking that dam. You bring the justice, you've brought the balance. This is you. Again, being this middle, this bridge between the two realms or something, or between the mother, father, between these cycles. There's something here where the karma, the task has been completed and you're done. And I think it's been such a journey that's been so mystical, because it had to be, because grace was needed. Magic was involved. Something supernatural was here, that this karma is now completing itself in the physical. You don't have to carry, you're showing me here in the current energy, you are still carrying the weight, but you're telling me it's done, right? Like you've been carrying the weight through this long winding path to where you get to this ending place where you're going to drop the bowls of fruit off onto this platform. It's like where they need to be, right? So you've carried the task all the way through to the end, is what you're showing me here in the current energy. So that static, that karma, it's being completed. You've done it. You have done it. You did it. Something like that in the current energy. And this is where it gets so fascinating to me, where I think about that losing your religion idea. Because the future placement shows the council with this coming apart and the Ten of Swords. And I feel like this is where it's almost like you're hearing all these voices, let's say, by your spirit guides, or it's this council, right? Like the Mother Earth, Father Sky, the ancestors, whatever this is, voices through the veil. You carried through a mystical task. The council is like this group that you've been communicating with. It's like the interdimensional relationships that you've had or cultivated. I almost feel like these break apart or go quiet, because it's sort of like with a heavy heart that this no longer needs to be part of your everyday reality, where it's pulling you away from this like sort of simple animal life that most people might, or we might think most people come in having, where they're born, they carry their own stuff, they live, they have fun, they die. It's like you've gone through this whole mystical experience carrying quite a bit for a very long time, but you're finally at the end result. It's like those old Nike commercials where you watch her run up the stairs and then she's able to like have that little Hershey's kiss. She gets to her destination. It's like you've arrived. And so it's like parting is such sweet sorrow, because I almost feel like this cacophony of voices or something, it's like they go really quiet. And it might be your connection through the veil. It also just might be the fact that, I don't know if your connection's ending, but it's the fact that your role or your task is no more, right? It's completed. And it almost feels like when something becomes your whole identity, like a job, this has basically been a job assigned to you energetically through multiple dimensions, is how it feels. Like the way that this has been addressed has been through multiple angles, and it feels supernatural or mystical to me. That's what I'm trying to explain. And over a long period of time, it feels like the voices and everything, the activity, the synchronicity, the magic, it's like it will all go quiet, because the task has been completed. Do you know what I mean? It's like you don't need those instructions anymore because you successfully accomplished this thing. And this is where it feels like, but oh my God, I dedicated my life to this, let's say for 7 years. Don't think cycle in 7 years, it's interesting. Like your body or something, your cells, something like that. But it's like, it's over, right? It feels like a silly metaphor. I dedicated my life to building a school for children in this impoverished area, and I struggled and I fought and I fought, and then I finally made it happen. Now what? Because it's not that it's fully over, it's that it's completed, and it had become your religion, right? Like this. It had become your everything. It had become your identity. And so when that's over, there's this sorrow or this grief or this questioning of, but who am I now without all of that? What do I do now? Where am I going now? And Pisces had a very similar energy where it was like outgrowing something that they thought they wanted, and then it was like, well, now what? And the extended really was the real reading. And I feel like it's showing up here in your spread, where it's talking about kind of like going off on your own, right? Because it's like you are also sort of splitting off from this council. I mean, it feels like breaking away from a group that was your everything and gave you your meaning. And I almost feel like this council is saying, like, we're sorry. It's so fascinating to me. But you did, it's kind of like the beaver in the water fairy story. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry to everyone. Thank you, water fairy. We're really sorry that we assigned you this task, but thank you so much that you completed it. Now we can all breathe a sigh of relief. But then it's like, if she dedicated years of her life, where it became her identity, to I'm the water fairy breaking down this dam, what happens when the dam is cleared? It's like you don't know what to do with yourself. You don't know where to go, what's coming next. It's not just a new chapter in the story. It's a whole new book. It's a whole new book. Right, even here, it's like this is where you suddenly find yourself. It's like, oh my God, what now? It's gone quiet. It's gone quiet. The path has gone cold. Who do I follow anymore? Because in a way too, it simply feels like when you have things, people, ancestors, guides, maybe it's physical people telling you what to do, a real mother and father in real life, right? You have things to accomplish. You have things that make sense to you. You have a task to do, to complete. You're told what to do and you know what to do. It's like a monkey could do it. Well, when you don't have the set of instructions anymore, or that task, or it's completed, what next? And this is where you show me. I want to say to you, Aries, I feel like your life this whole time, you might be sad about this, but I feel like your life in a way hasn't even truly begun, because you've been living it for everyone else in a way. Carrying a karma that needed to be completed. You've been untangling this knot of karma, and you have successfully accomplished it. And now here you are, not knowing what to do with yourself now that you've untangled it. And it shows up with flying, which is beautiful. It's this new beginning. You're rising above the maze of the instructions and what to do. It's like you're a free bird. But it's so funny to me that it's like this freedom sort of comes with this sadness in a way, or this longing for missing the instruction or the direction or the task, right? The meaning. But it comes out with music, which is harmony, and you've got the 10 of Pentacles. So this is all extremely abundant and positive. So where you're headed next is almost like finally living your life, where if you look at this woman here, she is, you could be doing an entirely new line of work as well, but it really feels like getting to choose what you want in life now, because you're not carrying forward this old cycle that you have to keep untangling. It's like you can meet the new archetypes or the new people in your current timeline. It's almost like you were like time traveling or something to me. It's such a wild feeling to me, like what you've actually been doing. And then when it shows the ending here of your spread before we get to the extended, even here, it's like you've sort of been this one, right? Just by coming in with something over you. It's like this task. I don't know. And I think you get familiar with that. It's almost like Stockholm Syndrome, where it's like, well, you get familiar with being told what to do. See, here, but then here, it's like this is the new opportunity. This is the flying card here. This is where, okay, when you're done with that story, when you completed that task, when you're not being, essentially it's like you're not being subjected to fate. This is like destiny coming in and offering you destiny because you fulfilled your fate. It feels like that. You fulfilled a fate. And so there's this destiny now, and it can be what you desire and what you want, and it's very different than anything you've ever learned. I mean, lived or learned. Because, you know, the water fairy, she was doing everything for everyone, but here, if you look at this card, it's like this person's holding her hand. I don't know, it just feels like she feels almost like an empress here, very, very supported. There's a lot of support, there's a lot of harmony, and it's sort of up to you. It's like you actually are genuinely holding the pen of your destiny. Fate is no longer at play here. And we've got the 10 of Cups, I mean, and the World, right? Which is, again, this idea of, notice this archway. It's like, even with the rainbow, something's come full circle here. Something's completed. And so now you're opening up to, it's almost like you're finally being born. I almost want to say happy birthday. Happy birthday, Aries. Because you have been really busy. And it's not like I'm saying, oh, life's just going to be so easy and so great. But what it is it's destiny. There's free will here. That's what it is. There's free will here. And you get to choose what you align with. You're not doing it out of essentially force, right? Not that I think you are resentful of this. I don't think, you know, the water fairy is resentful of the task she's been assigned. But it's kind of like, okay, you completed your task, right? It's kind of like college. It's like you completed your general education requirements. What do you want to actually study? It's up to you. You get to choose, right? You're here to get to choose what you want for your future. And this is where you're sitting now. So I'm just going to go into the extended because there's essentially no leader to follow anymore. And that could feel really foreign. But it's also so exciting because, I mean, everything can change. Everything can actually change and be so different than anything you've yet to experience, because it's kind of like you're finally being born with a clean slate. Okay, the extended is going to be through the Patreon at the top of the description box down below. I've got really poofy hair today. It's because I blow dried it. But this is where we end it. Aries, thank you so much for being here with me. I love you very much, and I'll see you next time.